Welcome to the September meeting of the Commission on Aging. First of all, I'd like to welcome Elizabeth Mercola, who is from the Darien Library. She's going to be doing a presentation on the offerings for seniors and other members of our community at the library, which I think will be informative and enlightening to me, especially because although I love the library for picking up books and the occasional lecture, I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that you guys are doing which I am not aware of. So thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Wonderful. And we'll open our agenda with a discussion of the July minutes. Do folks have edits? I had one, and that is if you go to page 2, you'll see some discussion relating to, he also mentioned and discussed the issue of combining the Department of Rehabilitation with the Department of Aging and realizing it was a conflict. We were actually at that point talking about combining this Commission on Aging with a group that was also serving folks with special needs. So we weren't at that point talking about the State Department of Rehabilitation. Okay. So whatever way you can amend that to talk about talking about amending the local Commission on Aging, because at that point we were talking about keeping our Commission on Aging sacrosanct, serving this seniors of this community, and allowing, if the town wished to create a new special commission relating to those with special needs. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Any other changes to the minutes? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended? Thank you. Second? Thank you. All in favor? Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. And Mather Center report. Beth.
Okay, I'm going to submit an August report too, but I'm just going to talk about September and October right now. The dredging project is nearly complete. The parking lot is supposed to open tomorrow for a big event. They did open it? Okay. This morning it wasn't when I came. So we're very happy. We did limit ourselves this summer and did a lot of valet and crossing guard duty in order to get people in and out of the center, but the job is well done and we're appreciative of that, and so we're moving forward. So our October newsletter is so packed, and so I figured I would take the opportunity just to highlight some things that are going to be happening in October. It is National Senior Center Month, and this was the first event that we were able to have, which is the Chinese American Choir coming tomorrow with a themed lunch. We do have a new chef as well, and I'll talk about her at another time, but she has a varied background. We are very, very lucky. It was hard to lose the chef that we had. She was very good, but it was almost like it was a good happenstance from the standpoint of what we did get right now, so we're very, very fortunate. The HSPC meeting, Human Services Planning Council, starts again in September. They meet at the Mather Center monthlies, and we host that. So that we're going to need our parking lot for that as well. So we're happy to have it back. Just some highlights of October programming, because I realize the commission, the Channel 79 report comes out a little later. Please pick up an October newsletter. It is so packed with things that we actually ran out of pages. We're going to be doing some inserts, but really important stuff. We're going to have our judge of probate, who's going to talk about all the changes that have happened in probate. When he comes, he's absolutely wonderful because he's able to do a presentation that's really clear, comprehensive, and he stays to answer questions, which I think is the most valuable thing that can happen, and we usually get a big turnout for that. Also, the U.S. Census presentation is going to happen in October as well. We may become a site that they're working on this with us, that once a week they're at the center in our computer room, because they're preferring to do these the census online. And what they're coming for is to show people what it looks like, the packet, to kind of do a little how-to, because they're trying to avoid also scamming. And our population is that we serve as one of the most important to get counted, because as we know, there have been a lot of proposed federal and state cuts. The more that we're counted and the more that it's understood what we are statistically, the more that it helps us statewide and nationally. So we may be a site, but the presentation is going to be very helpful. The gal is wonderful.
When is that?
That's going to be on October 22nd at 12:30. We are also doing Oktoberfest, which filled up like that last year. This gal is really doing authentic German food. And we will have probably a limit of 100 people, as we are doing now, and I'll let everybody know that in TV land, we are having Darien residents sign up first, and then we open it up to our non-residents because these programs have become so popular. The newsletter will be out tomorrow. So if you pick one up, give us a call. You don't have to come in to sign up, you can call us. We are also doing 2 flu clinics, October 8th and 29th. These are on the early side. We're going to do 2 more in November. This one is with our Department of Health. So it's been already coordinated with them. And obviously we know the importance of getting a flu shot. We are then going to celebrate Halloween with our famous costume parade and competition. Kenny Capetta is coming, so it's going to be in addition to, it's actually a very fun event, and it actually surprises me sometimes how many folks, Jerry can attest to this, love to dress up and love to, and have that opportunity. So that's one of the more fun events.
Now, who is Kenny and what does he do?
Kenny Capetta is a musician, and he does a lot of sing-along, but he does also, he imitates like Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin,
awesome.
that kind of thing. Yeah, he's a lot of fun, and he knows how to get the crowd going. So this is the first time we've ever had him for Halloween. So he's coming dressed, and he's going to run the costume contest,
That's
which is great for me. I love that, but it should be a lot of fun. But a lot of things are returning. The garden club's coming back from October through usually end with May, and it goes on and on and on. So I just wanted to use this opportunity to really pick up the newsletter. We're very happy. I think July, I know for me, July, late June, July and August were tense because of all of the stuff that we really had to watch out for everybody's safety too, and not being able to do what we normally do in the summer made us go a little crazy. So October, November, and December are all packed. So pick up the newsletter.
Awesome. Any questions for Beth? All right, thanks so much. Human Services Report, Ally.
Good morning. We started taking energy assistance applications last week for oil heated homes, and then October 7th we'll start taking applications for electricity and gas propane heated homes. The income limit for a single person is $36,000 and change, and a 2-person household is $47,000 and change. Something new, Human Services is now a local coordinating agency for the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. Maybe some of you saw it in the paper, I'm not sure. It's a program through the Department of Agriculture for low-income seniors. They can come into our office and get a little packet of vouchers that they can use at the farmers market. Actually, not just here, they can use it at any of the farmers markets in the state of Connecticut. So we reached out to our local, our seniors that we work with on a regular basis, our low-income seniors. We've given out about 30 packets so far. So it's just it's not a lot, it's about $18 worth, but it's a nice little treat, and it's something fun for them to do on a Wednesday afternoon.
And it's brilliant because it's getting them out and getting really fresh food beyond what they might use with their coupons. So
Exactly.
it's a brilliant program.
Yeah, it's wonderful, so we're really happy about it, and the seniors have been very, very pleased with it as well. So we'll continue that, so it's every summer. What else? As many of you probably saw, Old Town Hall Homes has been renamed as the Royal, and the building is above ground, which is exciting. I know we still meet with the seniors every month down at the Mather Center, and that's promising and encouraging to all of them, because obviously everyone wants to get back. And actually I put on our report here, if you go on the town website, they do have information, like a link that you can click on, and it takes you to the Heights or Imagineers website, and people can actually I have my own little cheat sheet of people that have wanted to know when the wait list opens, but you can actually add your name if people are computer savvy and have email and whatnot, so that they're notified from housing. What else? The Medicare open enrollment, set to mid-year, starts October 15th through December 7th, so any Darien resident who's on Medicare should call us and review their Medicare coverage, because we often can save people money. Oh, one thing I forgot to add to my report is renter's rebate, where that's winding down. So September 30th is the last day for people to apply for that. That's about it.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, I'll move to our main topic of today, which is Elizabeth Maricola, who is the Associate Director of Public Services of the Darien Library. And she's going to give us a presentation on what you guys offer. Thanks so much for coming.
Great. Thank you so much for having me, and good morning again, everybody. I'm not new to Darien Library, but I am new to this position. So I've worked for 8 years at Darien in the children's department, and with the departure of Mallory Ahrens, our former Associate Director of Public Services, I have moved away from children's services and up into the bright and shiny world of all the services that we offer to the public, which is very exciting for me because I get to work with different groups of people and be involved in different projects. So hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more of me both in the library and around town. But I didn't leave children's services entirely, so you'll still see me there too if you happen to pop into the children's library. Darien obviously offers a wealth of programming for our patrons, and I wouldn't want you to think that's the only thing that we have available to people who come to the library in addition to books. So libraries, as you know, have changed tremendously over the past 15, 20 years. We no longer think of ourselves as repositories for books. While we still have books and we have a thriving collection that people enjoy checking out, we want to truly be a community center. We think of ourselves as a third place. When they built the new library, which is not that new anymore, but when they built the new library, they really tried to think about what the community needed and how the library could be a place for people to gather and be in the community. Libraries are one of the last free places in the country where everyone can go and be, and you don't have to pay any money to be there, and that is a really amazing thing. And we're really proud of the fact that we're able to offer all of these wonderful services and programs to everyone for free. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the services that we offer for people with accessibility needs. So for homebound patrons, the library will actually deliver books to your house. We have a book delivery program. If you know Pat Tone is the book delivery program. She will arrive at your house with your books and a smile on her face. So that is something that you can access on the website to sign up for it through the accessibility page. You can also just call the library and we'll set it up for you. You don't have to use the website. In addition, if you are at home and you just don't feel like coming to the library that day, if you have a smart device, you can download a whole host of apps from the library and have access to books and movies and music and all kinds of materials without ever leaving the comfort of your home. Sometimes we call our patrons who mostly use our digital services our pajama patrons because you don't even have to get out of your pajamas to come or to access our materials. So some of those apps, there's one called Hoopla, which is Hoopla, and there's one called Libby, which is Libby. Those are both books, music, TV, and all you need is your library card number to log into them. If you don't have your library card, you can just call us and we'll give you your library card number. So, if you are not interested in our digital offerings, we do still have obviously tons of physical books. We have a huge large type print collection. Most of it is actually housed outside of the public areas of the library because there are so many books we can't fit them all on the shelves. So if you're looking for a large type book, it may be in the basement and your friendly neighborhood librarian would be happy to go and retrieve it for you, or you can put it on hold and we'll bring it up for you. We keep sort of a rotating collection around the fireplace on the first floor in the fiction area. Another thing that you can check out from the library is a magnifier with a screen. If you are, you prefer a large type book, but we don't have that book in large type, we loan out magnifiers, so you can check one of those out too, and use that to magnify the books.
So those go out for 3 weeks as well, or how long?
They do. They go out for the life of the book, or however long you have the book.
Got it.
And we're not super mad if they take a while to come back.
Fair enough.
We don't fine seniors for overdue books, so once you turn 65, you no longer have fines at the library, which is a service that we're very happy to offer because we know that sometimes it's hard to get back to the library and return your books, so that is something that you don't have to worry about. In general, we always believe that our patrons are going to bring our books back eventually, and we try not to be aggressive about getting things back. We know they'll come back eventually. Something else that we offer that you may not know about because I think it's sort of hidden on the website, but we have a program called Book a Librarian where you can reserve an hour of a librarian's time to do really a whole variety of things. Anything that you could possibly think of that you might want to use a librarian for, we offer. So if you're just looking for reader's advisory and you want to sit down with a librarian and talk about books for an hour, you can reserve one of us and we will do that with you. If you need technical assistance or you want to learn about building a website or you're trying to put together a PowerPoint presentation, you can of course just come to the library and someone will be available to help you. But if you know ahead of time that you want sort of intensive one-on-one help, you can reserve a librarian at the library. So that is also a page on the website. It's darionlibrary.org/book-a-librarian, but you can also just call us and we will set that up for you as well. Yesterday, we launched the first program in a year-long grant-funded series called the Caregiver Cafe. The idea of the Caregiver Cafe is to care for caregivers. Now, coming from Children's Services, when I hear the word caregiver, my brain automatically thinks someone who's taking care of small children. But this program is actually for people who are taking care of seniors and their aging parents and people who have dementia or other diseases in that vein. And the idea is that once a month, caregivers can come to the library and sort of relax and be appreciated. So our first event was yesterday. Some of the people in this room were at that event. It was a panel discussion about taking care of adults. And then every month after that, we will have a caregiver cafe with something fun and relaxing for caregivers to do. So the next one is Wednesday, October 9th at 3 p.m. It's a hand massage and therapy dog session. So, yes, it should be very nice. And there is a website that's dedicated just to the Caregiver Cafe on the library's website, darionlibrary.org/caregiver-cafe is how you can get to that one. And it has sort of a blurb about the whole program and the grant that's funding the program, and then a link to all of the events that we're doing in favor of the program. So, speaking of events, I think Darien Library is pretty well known for the events that it does. I pulled a couple ones in the next probably like 6 weeks that may be of particular interest to this committee. So our last Short Stories for Long Days is going to be next week at the end of September. And then our dear moderator Carol will be off to warmer climates, and hopefully we'll have her back again in the spring. So that's the last one of those discussions for a while. On Thursday, September 26th at 7 p.m., we're offering tax-free in retirement. So Michael Alimo, who is an investment advisory representative, is going to come to talk about the best ways to use your retirement. I know that my father really appreciates living in Pennsylvania where his pension is not taxed, but I don't think that's true in Connecticut, so that will hopefully be helpful. On Tuesday, October 1st, we're doing a free blood pressure screening from 12 to 1:30 with a visiting nurse and hospice of Fairfield County. On Thursday, October 10th, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we are having a presentation on Manet and the Spirit of Spain, so an art presentation. The speaker's name is Larissa Baleth, and she's a specialist in modern French art and social history, so she's going to talk about Manet and his work in the context of Spain at the time. And then, also for Hispanic Heritage Month, on Saturday, October 12th, we're doing a Latin music concert. So that is a family event, it's open to all ages, and we're pretty excited about that as well. All right, I think that's a pretty good summation of what we offer at Darien Library. I guess the only thing I didn't mention yet is meeting spaces. So if you are a resident in town, you can call ahead and pre-book any of our meeting spaces in the building. We have quiet spaces if you need to do quiet work and you just want to be alone in a place that is soundproof. We also have talking spaces, so if you have a meeting that you need to have or you want to work collaboratively with someone, you can reserve one of those spaces as well. And of course, our large community room and our conference room are available to rent. The fees are waived for Darien nonprofit organizations, particularly town organizations, so that's something to note as well.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I think your caregiver program is excellent. It sounds really good and very much needed. But I was wondering, had anybody expressed any concern about leaving their family member to go to the program, or is that covered, or did they have any issues with that? Do you know?
Do you live stream them for situations like that?
Yeah,
I was
that's-
wondering about that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think the individual caregiver cafes would work really well as a live stream because they're kind of like hands-on. You can't feel the hand massage, unfortunately.
The panel discussion,
But the
yeah.
panel discussion, absolutely. Caregivers are welcome to bring the people they're caring for to the caregiver cafe. It's not exclusively for caregivers.
Okay.
But I don't think anyone has complained about that.
Yeah,
Or
we
been
have
worried
also the
about that
friendly
yet.
visitor program, right? So is that may be something to fill in if the caregiver wants to come for the, like the
That's a really great
support.
idea.
And then maybe a friendly visitor could stay with the person for an hour or so, giving the caregiver a respite.
That would be lovely. All right.
How about the notary?
Oh, I'm becoming a notary, so I think I push that out of my mind because I'm afraid that I'm going to fail the test. But Darien does offer free notary public services. You can call ahead of time if you know when you're going to be at the library and you're going to need a notary. But you can also just come to the library and there should be someone on staff available to help notarize your documents. And there's no charge for that. Yes. We have a very large computer lab, which is still being used pretty heavily on the weekends, but sees a little bit less use during the week, I think, as technology has changed and devices have become more common, particularly touchscreen devices, which are so much easier to use than desktop computers. But we have about 25 computers downstairs in our tech lab, and we have computers upstairs in our reference room. We also offer a variety of printing and faxing services. So we have a banner printer. If you are looking to print a big, beautiful banner for something, the library can do that. We offer faxing to other organizations, although we're not able to accept faxes at the library. Just because of the way the technology works, it's an email to fax situation, so it doesn't work in reverse. We have laminating, we have spiral binding, we can print huge reams of paper for you and collate them and staple them if that's something that you need to be done, you're giving a presentation or something like that. Basic copying, we have a microfilm reader stand. I just learned yesterday that in the basement we have bound editions of the Darien News, the Darien paper that no longer exists from Darien. I forget what it was called. The News, the Darien News. These huge, really cool leather-bound, all of the back issues. So things like that are available as well. We also have a small Darien history collection upstairs. So if the history of the town is something you're very interested in, we have a lot of materials that can't leave the library but can be used in the library.
What about where you match a reader to a librarian?
Oh, well, the book matchmaker is currently on hiatus, so that's why I didn't
is it?
mention it. It is.
Oh, wow.
You can still book a librarian to do reader's advisory for you, but we're not currently accepting new people into the.
That was my favorite.
So it is going to relaunch in January.
Okay.
We have a program called the Book Matchmaker where you fill out a quiz about the things that you like to read, and we match you with a librarian who has similar tastes in reading, and then every 6 weeks they put a book on hold for you that they've chosen.
It's a terrific program.
Great
Yeah,
idea.
it's really awesome.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Well, so the problem was that it is so awesome that we had about 250 people sign up for it, which is a lot of books and a lot of people. So about 6 months ago, we put it on hiatus for new registrants, and I'll let you know when it comes back again to new people because we had to take a small break. Luckily, some people dropped out and moved away, so we have a little bit.
I think it's a very valuable program for seniors again, because again, somebody's doing some research for you and providing you with insights and information.
And it's fun for us too because it's a way for us to sort of force people to read our favorite books that maybe aren't getting the attention that we think they deserve. So.
I love the targeting of that program, though. I mean, I think about all the books when I'm just scanning in the library, and if somebody was with you saying, no, Joe, don't put in that section, you need to be here,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I think that'd be fascinating. It's a great idea.
It's really fun, and when you get your book, it has a card on it saying why we write out why we thought that you would like this book.
And then you feel super good when you say, I read that one already.
I'm well read, exactly.
You feel good, we feel terrible. We're like, no! I gave a bad recommendation, or not a new one. So,
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Great. Other questions for Elizabeth? Yes, Jerry.
I just want to share this. I really think that our town is very lucky to have these organizations. The Darien Library, the Senior Center here with Beth. And I say that because I know when I went through it with my mom with Alzheimer's, I had gone to the Norotan Presbyterian. And my daughter-in-law, as a matter of fact, had signed me up for it. And I think there's a lot of people that go through this with their parents and siblings now, because there's younger people developing this at a very young age. They say the front lobal. And I went to it thinking I didn't have to go to it, that I was handling everything. And having that at Norotan Presbyterian was wonderful. And then the aftercare, that they can still keep coming back. And I remember when my mom had it, the one thing that my doctor said to me about my mom was that he thought that keeping her motivated into the senior center, we started out at Edgerton, and then I brought my mom over to the senior center here with Beth, and it was the most incredible thing that had ever happened. And he said to me that he felt that the longevity that she had was because we kept her connected to people. Because some of the people, when they go through this, they keep their families in the house, shut in. They don't want to bring them out into the public. My mom still came to church, still went to luncheons, and to be honest with you, the Darien programming, Beth and Marcy, welcomed her with open arms. And there are people that say they don't want them around. And I think what, now you're doing it, then when I got through at Norotan Presbyterian, I was able to go over to the senior center, and, Beth, you helped me a lot. I mean, there's things that I couldn't have done if I didn't talk to Beth about the Alzheimer's and the aftermath, how it affects us. Mm-hmm. And it does affect us. And I think we come in contact, like I help Beth over there. I have dog therapy, and I bring Rosie. And sometimes I think, personally, Beth, my own feeling, I think sometimes you see the person that is starting with the dementia.
Yes.
And that's why I think these programs that that Beth are combining together, and Gina, I'm out in the public and I hear it, how nice it is to call on the phone and get a ride, to come to these programs. I mean, I really think it's phenomenal what all of you are doing. At Home in Darien, the Darien Library, the Darien Senior Center with Beth and Marcy. It's amazing. I don't see it anyplace else, believe me. I just know that because I have a lot of friends in Stanford. And some of them are really lost. And they're sitting home doing nothing. The caregiver is freaking out. And I just had to tell you that. I think it's great that we, as a community here, we all work together. I love it. It's very exciting, and I think the churches are amazing. They don't say, don't bring your loved one because they're out of it, or, if anything, they encourage you to bring them. They may not be able to understand, but, the last thing to go is their hearing, and they can hear. And, I know because I deal with the Chat and Chew group, and there's a lot of people that come there that I see the people that come, they some of them that come really need to have their families around and know that we sense something. And I think you three organizations together sense when there's something wrong. And to be able to do that and let a family member know that something's not right, I think it's wonderful. So I just had to say that.
Thank you for sharing, that's so lovely. And it is something that we actively work on. I mean, I think that the organizations that are represented at this table all work together really well and purposefully. We're not trying to replicate what each other is doing, we're trying to complement what everyone is doing so that we have a fully rounded, I guess, slate of programs and resources available to people in town.
And to add to that, Ally and Human Services. In other words, you know.
Of course.
I mean, I'm simply saying
No,
that
seriously.
yeah.
Because you know how nice that is? Because I'm able to say to somebody, call Ally. I mean, I don't know if they come in and say, Jerry Genovese told me, it's either Ally or it's Beth or it's the rides or whatever, the friendly visitors. I mean, all of you together need to be commended for what you all do together. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I was thinking as you were speaking too, you know, where do some people who might not have families or who have very little, who are not identified so much to be able to get into these programs, so that they don't fall through the cracks. And I was just thinking about, you know, I'm sure maybe people may take a ride from at home or something, and maybe some people could be trained a little bit if they are in contact with someone who's not well connected or have families, to be able to bring that to the attention of somebody so that they could be referred to wherever, you know, program or social services or whatnot. Might be good to get those people in as well.
I have to say, we have wonderful neighbors in this town. It's amazing how many neighbors look out for their
neighbors,
seniors.
yeah.
Not just seniors,
Do they?
but we get calls, I'm sure we all get calls.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing, like how much people really care and how much compassion there is. So I think as a neighbor, if you're concerned about somebody, call one of us, you know, and we'll help do whatever outreach we can.
Yeah, and I had a friend who had a mother-in-law that was roaming around the streets in her neighborhood. And the woman that was roaming around, her friend could not tell the daughter-in-law because she was afraid to tell the daughter-in-law. I said, well, somebody's got to tell the daughter-in-law. That lady's going to be missing. There'll be a silver alert. So I went to the daughter-in-law. I told her. I mean, she was like, oh, my God, I can't believe you're telling me this. And then she got a caregiver to go in. And that's how it works because you're right there. You see it. That's right there. She sees it. You too. You know, we all, Gina, I'm sure you see it too, and we're able to say something to the family, and sometimes there's no family around. So
Very challenging.
that's what's challenging.
Yes.
And a lot of these seniors are so lonely. You know, but it's so awesome that we can all do this and give them quality of life right to the very end.
Absolutely.
And some of the seniors are my age, and I see what happens, and you know, it's pretty exciting to see what goes on here in Darien for our seniors, really. I love it.
Awesome. Well, hard to top that. Any other questions for Elizabeth?
I mean it.
Hearing none, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
your
me.
presentation. Awesome. And I'm going to transition, since we're on this wonderful Love Fest, over to Gina. What's going on at home in Darien?
Just this week, everybody should have received their latest issue of Out and About in the mail. And it is our annual report for 2018, but also included in it is an invitation, which is to everybody in town for 3 events. One is our anniversary celebration at Lee Beach, which is Sunday afternoon, the 29th. It'll just be a very short affair from 4 to 5 p.m. Hopefully the weather will be good, but we'll have ice cream and popcorn and cookies and just goodies and just celebrate with the guitarist and dedicate some of the benches that we were able to raise money for the town. So we're excited about that. The other is our annual luncheon, which is always a very popular event, so please call and let us know if you'd like to attend. or you can do it online, but we have a speaker coming, a cardiologist who will be speaking about heart health, and then save the date for our annual meeting, which is Tuesday, December 3rd at the library. Thank you.
Awesome. Any questions for Gina? No, thanks so much. Old business. Peter. I figure you got some.
I do. Just a couple of things. AARP, I got a long email yesterday from my friends in tax aid, and you know what? We're already starting, and we've seen the schedule, and it's going to be expanded at the library. It's going to be on Mondays, I think 1 to 8. It's going to be a bit longer on Saturday, so Friday and Saturday. It's going to be back here at the Senior Center, I think on Wednesday.
Wednesdays, 9 to 1, I think.
Right, so again, it was record-breaking the volume that we had at the library. And again, the tax aid folks said, okay, let's expand it, so even more flexibility there. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, I attended a meeting last week. AARP in the state of Connecticut is really going to begin a major campaign on fighting the high rate of prescription drug prices. Okay, and I sat there and they presented a lot of statistics, but one of the ones that really disturbed me was they presented this chart here. And this is adults who cited costs as a reason for skipping prescription or dosages in 2016. As a percentage, in the United Kingdom, it was 2%. In Germany, 3%. In Norway, 3%. In France, 4%. In the Netherlands, 4%. In Sweden, 6%. In Australia, 6%. In Scotland, 9%. In Canada, 10%. And in the United States, 33%. 33% at some point in time skipped their prescription because they couldn't afford it.
I'm sorry, how many?
33% at some point in time.
I believe that.
And it's 2% and 3% in lots of other countries. And again, the drug prices are, of course, so high. The brand prices, retail prices for many of the brand name drugs most commonly used by older adults increased on average by 8.4% in 2017. 8.4%. It's going to be a contentious thing because we really want to say to the drug manufacturers, enough, and you've got to stop it, okay? And there are some legislation that's already starting to wend its way through Congress. But it's going to be contentious because AARP is also an insurer through its insurance company. So some of the drug manufacturers are going to say, hey, watch this battle coming from AARP when through their insurance, they're making money as well, okay? We're going to fight it because the most telling thing is to bring those prices by the manufacturer down. We're going to be doing they're doing a program. I'm just going to pass this out. It's kind of like opening the door. There's going to be one in Amber Room and Danbury. I just put these out, which is a get together where they'll begin to talk about some of these issues. So I'll just pass these out. But you're going to be hearing more about this in the coming months. And again, we're trying to figure out how to bring it into the communities to make it an issue. And to start to say, again, essentially to the drug manufacturers. And we're already hearing this whiplash, of course, with the opioids and things like that. But this is very specific and geared to seniors. The Senate Finance Committee has a bill that Chuck Grassley of Iowa and Ron Wyden of Oregon just advanced. The Bipartisan Prescription Drug Pricing Reduction Act. And we're going to strongly encourage that to happen. Another thing one of the things that they're saying is that in most countries, except I think Australia, drug companies are not allowed to advertise directly to consumers. They're not allowed, okay? Personally, I don't think it's going to happen here. because we had a fight in the Supreme Court, and advertising is a protected free speech right. So I don't think that, and I'm not sure I'd be for that way to do it. But again, controls and drive the cost down. So it's going to be a major complex issue. And again, in our state, it's going to get some attention in the coming months.
Let us know, that is something where we could put, albeit our small elbow to the grindstone, but whatever we can do, that seems like something we should do whatever we can, whether it's testifying in Hartford or wherever. So let us know how we can throw in on that, because that is such a horrific issue for seniors. To hear that statistic of 33%, that's just nuts.
Yep.
And especially, I'll tell a quick story. We were in India, and my son Cade got pink eye. And so he's got, oh my God, what do we do now? Well, the hotel brings in a doctor, and he gives us a prescription. And we go to this little store down the road. The cost for his prescription was, in Indian currency, but converted to American currency, $2. Okay? It's insane. And it's the exact same product you'd get down at Greaves. I mean, it's the exact same product. So, I mean, it's insane what we've done. Now, I understand that drug manufacturers spend a boatload of money on R&D, and that's part of what they argue. But it's also clear that it's a money-making opportunity, and especially when you cannot watch a football game or a news show or whatever without being peppered by things that you may need something for, okay, when, oh, I didn't know I had that problem, right, okay, so as a result, okay, it's just, we need whatever we can do as a commission to back that. I mean, we gotta do, it's good stuff.
I have something to say that it's not directly related to the prices of the drugs, although it is indirectly, but something to be aware of, because it happened to me personally, just like this past week. I've been hypothyroid for like over 40 years, so that really, you just take a thyroid pill. But more recently, I became hypothyroid. Now, what reason is this? And I did some research, because it was a little, stumped me a little bit. And to find out, most likely what's happened is my generic thyroid pills degraded with the really high heat in the house and high humidity, where I don't have air conditioning, and you know how hot it got over the summer. And the generic is a softer kind of a tablet to begin with than the name brand, so I'm going to be switching over to that. It was called into my pharmacy. Well, they're going to lose money that way, or they make money. I'm sorry, I'll lose the money. But it's something for our seniors to think about too. If for temperature control, and being a nurse, I wouldn't even. This is like in 40-something years. That the temperatures in the house is getting so hot and humid that medications might degrade. And it may look like to some people they're not taking their medications, and they may not remember if they're taking them. But for next summer maybe, or for the winter if it gets very, very cold, because some of these medications have a very small range of temperature where they're more stable. So the thyroid pill becomes a little, the one that, I don't know which one, the levothyroxine, becomes a little unstable after 59 degrees. Okay, so when it reaches close to 100 degrees in the home, you can imagine maybe what, could happen.
We can ask our Connecticut pharmacist, who's awesome.
Yeah.
You said it's a topic, and
Yes,
do it
it's
twice a year.
Yeah, because we know insulin,
That's
needs refrigeration, but the refrigerator would have been too cold. So, something to think about, some medications are effective for them.
That's why I love our commission. I mean, we've got so many different people to add stuff. Like, that's not something that
I don't think about it.
Correct. Wasn't even on my radar. So that's
Me neither.
really good stuff. Really good stuff. Great. Anything else, Peter?
I'll do it.
Cool. Any other old business? Hearing none. Any new business? Hearing none. Can I have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Thank you. Second. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in